What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Mad Detail. Today we're going to be working on a 1985 Toyota SR5 4x4 that's completely trashed inside and out. This thing has been sitting under a tree for about 4 years and is flooded with pine needles, acorns, and all types of dirt, debris, and mold on the interior and exterior. So just before we get into this detail, please take a second out and hit that subscribe button and make sure to turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. So without further ado, let's get right into this detail. So starting off the detail in a very unusual way, and that's by picking up all the leaves, pine needles, and sticks by hand, and then actually vacuuming the paint, I guess. Not something you normally want to do, but the paint on the hood is actually pretty much 80% gone, so I wasn't too worried about scratching here. So to start the wash process here, I'm using my chemical sprayer filled up with super clean degreaser, non-diluted, so it's at full strength. So one thing I always want to recommend to you guys, if you have really dirty tires or if you use a lot of solvent dressings, I personally recommend using a full strength degreaser. I know a lot of people look at it like you're wasting product or you could just dilute it and do it a couple more times, but to be honest, you never end up with just as good of a result as using a full strength degreaser. As you guys can see here, and once you get it pressure washed away, it makes the tires look nice and clean. That was just with one pass. I do usually do a second pass just to make sure all the dirt and brown layer on the tire is gone. I do recommend always using a full strength degreaser. And then here I'm just using some acid-based wheel cleaner with a variety of different brushes to try and get some of that rust loosened up. As you guys can see here, it is missing some of the chrome. So later on in the video, we do actually touch it up, and you guys will see what we do with them later. So here I'm going to be using my chemical sprayer filled up with super clean diluted 5:1, and I was actually amazed and kind of shocked a little bit to see how good a shape some of the painted surfaces was on this truck, and was really pleased with pressure washing it all down and getting that kind of result. So hope you guys enjoy. So as you guys can see here, I'm still trying to make these rims look as nice as possible without having to paint them or anything like that. But as I learned quickly after this, after using a scuff pad and seeing that none of the rust was coming off, was because it actually wasn't surface rust. It was missing chrome in most of those big spots. So we'll revisit that later in another clip. But here I'm just using some of that full strength degreaser I have in my other chemical sprayer to get this bed cleaned up. So there's a lot of built up tree sap and a lot of latex paint in this bed. I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but I did want to get a lot cleaner than what it was. So I just took some degreaser and a stiff bristle brush, kind of scrubbed it, and then power washed it all the way. So now that we got all that thick layer of moss and dirt lifted away with the pressure washer, I'm going to go ahead and reapply a layer of snow foam and get it all washed and get all the leftover dirt rinsed away with the pressure washer. So after getting this all rinsed away, you guys can see here, it's something I missed. I just thought it was a little bit of built up dirt on the fender and just along some of the panels. But it ended up being a thick layer of brake grime. And you can see here, as soon as I put a little bit of the Meguiar's iron decontamination spray, it just instantly turned purple. So that told me that there was a lot of iron contaminants on this paint. Usually you pre-soak a body in this stuff before getting it washed, but since there was so much moss on the truck, I couldn't actually see this layer. So I went ahead and soaked the whole body in this stuff, and it was so attached to the paint that it actually didn't do much. You guys will see here, I actually end up using another method, as you guys see in the next clip. So since the whole truck was covered in a lot of surface rust and a lot of brake grime and brake dust, I went ahead and took my acid-based wheel cleaner, diluted it 10-to-1, and just sprayed down the whole body of the truck and went over it with a brush. This is not a method you always want to use, but it is really aggressive and it does take off rust stains, as you guys will see in the later clips. So since I'm acid baiting the whole truck, I'm going to go over all the chrome surfaces and all the kind of metal finishes to make them look nice and bright again. As you guys can see here, I'm using my acid-based wheel cleaner on this rust stain, and you guys can see within seconds it just eats away at that rust stain. Now keep in mind that stain was degreased and soap washed, and I really scrubbed on it too to try and get it off without using acid. There was no way, so that was the only thing that would get it lifted. So I mean, acid is very effective against rust stains. It just, you want to make sure you're careful with it, and you got to be very experienced in using it, because you don't want to just use it on any car. It's a very aggressive method, and it's not always necessary, so I don't want you guys to be, using it on a brand new car or something like that. But when you have paint that's in this bad a shape with this many rust stains, this is pretty much the only product that'll help with that. After getting the acid rinse away, I did go ahead and reapply foam all over the truck. That's what I use as a clay lube. So here I'm using a Grills Garage reusable clay, and if you pay attention to the color change of the foam, you'll see it's kind of turning like a brownish orange color. That's still leftover brake dust and a little bit of rust lodged onto the paint, so the only way to get it off was with this clay. So to start off the interior detail, I'm just going to collect any personal items and then throw away all the trash and get it ready for a vacuum. So if you guys look really closely here, you can see how many times I actually went over this carpet. In the back section of the truck, it comes with a shorter nap carpet than what's in the front. And you guys can see a lot of leftover pine needles and little kind of sticks and stuff like that. And some leftover dog hair as well. And the only way to get those pine needles out of that short nap carpet, I know a lot of you detailers kind of know what I'm talking about. The only way I found to get them out safely without destroying the carpet with like a stiff bristle brush or something like that is with a tornador. As you guys see in the later clips, once I pull the seats out, you'll kind of see it in action. So look forward to that. So once getting those chairs pulled out, I actually found something very interesting I want to share with you guys. So here I found a Taco Bell mild sauce from 1994. So it's actually quite a bit older than I am, but those are some of the stuff you kind of find when you pull out seats out of old trucks like this. So here I'm just using my Tornador velocity vac, and if you guys see here, kind of what I was talking about in the earlier clip, how those pine needles are kind of lodged into the carpet. The only way I could ever get them out without destroying the carpet is with this Tornador. The best $140 I've ever spent. I put a link to it down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. It's not sponsored. I don't get paid if you buy it or anything like that. I just really highly recommend this tool if you're a detailer. It does help with sand, dirt, and just kind of deep embedded dirt and debris. So I highly recommend this tool, especially for these pine needles on these shorter nap carpets and pet hair as well. So to get this interior clean, now that we're done with the vacuuming, on all the panels, I'm going to be using my all-purpose cleaner, diluted 5-to-1, along with a couple caps of distilled white vinegar. This will help with some of the mildew and mold that's built up on the interior, which there was a fair bit of it. This truck actually did sit with the windows open, so it did cause a lot of mildew and mold buildup on all these panels. And I'm using vapor steam as well to kill that mold. So here I'm just going to use a variety of different brushes, and to get it all wiped away, I'm going to use a microfiber towel along with my compressed air to blow out any leftover cleaner out of any nooks and crannies. As for the fabric portion of these door panels, I'm going to be using my carpet solution along with my steamer and just get it all agitated with the steamer and get it wiped away with a microfiber towel. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately on why I heavily saturate stuff so much. And if you guys see here in this clip, this is kind of a reason why. So you can see when I use this much product, I love to blow them out with compressed air because there'll be so much leftover dirt in some of those nooks and crannies. But a big part of it is, I keep the clips very raw for you guys so you guys can see the after result. You'll see a lot of other detailers that don't use a lot of product. They kind of just spray a little bit on a product on a little bit of product on a rag and then wipe it down and use a little tiny brush to get it agitated, which works. It'll get it to about 90%. But to get that last 10% and get everything 100% clean, this is the only method I found that works quickly and efficiently. And then that's why I use follow up with compressed air to make sure there's no leftover product or no damage to any electronic components. Now I don't do this to every vehicle, obviously. If the car is in pretty good shape, it's not filthy dirty like the ones you see in the videos, there's no need to use that much product and heavily saturate stuff. With that being said, the only time you guys see me detail cars is the dirtiest cars I have, and I make a video about it. So just keep in mind, if you guys got a car that's not that dirty, yeah, you don't have to use that much product and soak electronics. That's not the best idea. But when cars are just saturated in dirt, mold, and debris, I like to get them 100% clean. I don't like to see any crust on any buttons or anything like that. I have bad OCD, and I just can't let that happen. So But here I'm going to be cleaning the headliner with the same mixture I've been using throughout the whole detail, which is a 5-to-1 APC, along with a little bit of vinegar to kill any of that mold. And you guys can see it brought a really nice result. I'm also using my steamer as well. So to start the extraction process here, I'm going to be using my chemical sprayer with some carpet solution diluted 10-to-1, along with a drill brush to get it all agitated and get all the dirt lifted to the surface and get it all extracted. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, go ahead and smash that like button and make sure and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future details. So I got the master detailer help me out today, which is my little nephew. He wanted to try extracting a couple spots on the carpet, so I'll let him go ahead and do it. But I didn't hand him a drill brush because I didn't want him to screw up this short nap carpet as it's really sensitive to a drill brush. So I let him just use a handheld brush. But here he went ahead and extracted it all on his own. He actually did a pretty good job. So I always find this part the most satisfying, knowing that it pulled that much filth and dirt of the seats and carpet. Let me know down in the comment section below what is your guys' most favorite part of a detail and what's the most satisfying to you. So since these back interior panels were so sun faded, I went ahead and just touched them up with a little bit of vinyl spray by Duplicolor. Very similar color I got. Some I just had laying around the shop. I didn't spend too much time on it. Any of the overspray, I just kind of wiped away with some lacquer thinner. But I wanted to make sure and get it looking nice. Since a lot of the discoloration was almost a brownish yellow color, which was looking really tacky and ugly. So I did that, and it actually brightened up this interior a whole lot. But if you guys want to try this product, this is what it looks like, and it's pretty good. It's really inexpensive. It's about $7 a can. Not the best product, but it works pretty good for stuff like that. So on the rims, we went ahead and scuffed them with a scuff pad, and then got them all wiped away with some wax grease remover. Now this isn't the most best way or to prevent rust or anything like that. Just trying to add a nice look back to the truck. Now a lot of these parts are going to get replaced, like the rims are going to get replaced on the truck, and the whole truck is going to be repainted later on. But I just wanted to give the truck a nice look, and this was really killing the truck. So I just used some Krylon paint and primer all in one, and just touch up some of the rims, and then wiped away the overspray with some lacquer thinner. So a little disclaimer, like I said, if you got rust or anything like that, you don't want to just spray paint right over it, because it will come back within a month, sometimes 2 weeks, depends on where you live. But I wasn't going to spend a whole lot of time prepping these. These are just steel wheels. They're not worth a lot, but it did make the truck look 100 times better in the end result. So just want to put out a little disclaimer here. If you guys have rust, spraying rubberized undercoating right over it isn't the best way to take care of it. I know that. I got a little criticism in my last video for it. But the thing is, you know, it's one of the quickest, most efficient ways to make something look better. With that being said, you know, it's not the best way to take care of rust. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can take care of rust. You could have the part sandblasted, have some type of rust inhibitor applied, and then, you know, like POR 15 or something like that, and then have a coating applied. But, you know, in a detailed job, we're not going to obviously have any of that done. This is just to make it look better for another couple months and figure out what he actually wants to do with the truck, if he's going to replace his brush guard, if he's going to have it sandblasted, all that. But it does affect, having rust on a detail does affect the way it looks. So just wanted to make it look nice and black and get it all looking nice and fresh. So on this rust spot here, I'm using a little bit of direct metal primer just to cover up that ugly rust spot so you don't have to look at it. Like I said, not the best way, but it is going to look a ton better. Then I'm just going to apply some silver paint about an hour later, just to make it look nice and clean, and you don't got to look at that nasty brown rust spot. As for tire dressing, here I'm going to be using some Girls Garage Black Shine. I don't usually use aerosol dressings unless they're kind of a knobby tire like this one. But I went ahead and used it today because there was a lot of spots that could have been missed if I was to hand apply this dressing. So this leaves it with a nice shine. I highly recommend this product. You could find it anywhere, any local auto parts or anything like that, but it's a pretty good tire shine. Since the interior is so dull on this, I'm going to be using some Stoner Trim Shine instead of 303 Aerospace. Now, I do like this product for old faded trim because it does rejuvenate a lot of color back to it without adding a ton of shine. Like as you guys can see here, it is shiny, but once it's wiped away, it will leave it to a nice satin finish. I'm going to let this dwell a little bit on the interior to make sure it stays nice and colored, and we'll come back to it in a little bit and wipe it all away. So here I'm just going to be using some Auto Magic leveling wax, and this is just a basic wax. Anything you use on a paint like this, it'll be fine. So I didn't want to use any compound since the truck is going to get repainted later, and there's barely any paint left on this truck. So I just want to add a little bit of shine and protection back to this paint after using all those chemicals. So I've gotten a few comments asking why I don't use 303 anymore. I do use 303 Aerospace, guys. It is a better UV protectant than Trim Shine, but it just doesn't provide that rich look like I like on these really faded exterior trim. Now, when they're in pretty good shape, it does provide a nice black shine, but it just, when it comes to this faded discolored Trim Shine just always takes the cake for me, so I tend to use it a lot. But it's one of my favorite products. It's super cheap. It's like $7 a can. You can get it at any local auto parts store, and as you guys can see here, it leaves it with a nice rich shine without leaving it too shiny. So to finish up this detail and get this glass looking nice and crystal clear, I'm going to be using some Stoner invisible glass along with a few microfiber towels. So just about to approach the end of detail here. In the next clip, you guys will see the final before and after results. So we're just about approaching the end of the video here, guys. I know you guys are thinking about it, so go ahead and do it. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button if you guys enjoyed this content, and also turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any future mad details. I'll see you guys in the next one.